Ever wonder what a centuries-old bird-masked entity does all day when he's not, curing people? Welcome to a day in the life of SCP-049, the Plague Doctor. It's not all dramatic escapes and existential monologues. Turns out, life in containment is surprisingly ... domestic. Our story begins at precisely 0700 hours. While most of us are hitting the snooze button, SCP-049 is already awake, meticulously polishing his porcelain mask. This isn't just for looks. He claims it's essential for maintaining a sterile diagnostic field. After that, it's time for his morning constitutional, a slow, measured walk around his containment cell. He says it helps him contemplate the pervasiveness of the great pestilence. We think he just likes the echo his boots make. Breakfast is served at 0800. This is always a point of contention. The Foundation provides a standard, nutritionally balanced meal. SCP-049, however, insists on preparing his own medieval-era restorative broth. After months of negotiation, a compromise was reached. He's now allowed access to a small, heavily supervised kitchenette where he concocts something. The main ingredients seem to be boiled leeks, an alarming amount of garlic, and a mysterious herb he somehow cultivates in his cell. He calls it Bishop's Wort. The cafeteria staff just calls it a health code violation waiting to happen. Surprisingly, nobody who's tried it has gotten sick. They just smell like a medieval apothecary for a week. Mid-morning is prime time for unsolicited medical advice. As researchers and D-Class personnel pass by his cell, SCP-049 is quick to offer his expert opinion. That slight cough, my good man, is a clear indicator of miasmatic humors accumulating in the lungs. A poultice of mustard and raven's feathers is required immediately. Or, young lady, your posture suggests a dire imbalance of the bodily fluids. Have you considered a regimen of therapeutic bloodletting? He means well, we think, but his bedside manner could use some work. The staff have learned to just nod, smile, and walk a little faster. One of his most peculiar morning rituals involves SCP-999, the Tickle Monster. Once a week, under strict supervision, 999 is brought near 049's containment cell. The little orange blob will gurgle happily, trying to reach out for a tickle. But 049 just stares intently, muttering to himself. He's convinced that 999's overwhelming cheerfulness is a symptom of a new, mutated strain of the pestilence. He once described it as a saccharine miasma that rots the very soul with joy. He's been trying to diagnose it for years, much to 999's oblivious delight. The interaction usually ends with 49 sighing dramatically and retreating to his journal, while 999 gets a consolatory candy. Lunchtime brings another culinary adventure. Today, it's a pheasant pie! We don't ask where he gets the pheasant. It's probably just chicken. But he insists on calling it pheasant. He'll eat slowly and deliberately, occasionally pausing to critique the Foundation's barbaric use of plastic cutlery. True healing, he once declared to a confused janitor, begins with a proper silver spoon. The afternoon is dedicated to his primary passion, research, or, as he calls it, the work. This is when SCP-049 locks himself in his study, a corner of a cell he has designated as such, and writes furiously in a large, leather-bound journal. The entries are always incredibly dramatic. We've managed to get a peek at some of them. They're filled with phrases like, Day 4732 of my lonely vigil, and the pestilence mocks me with its resilience, but I shall not falter. He diagrams complex, nonsensical, surgical procedures involving leeches and strange alchemical symbols. It's like a high school biology textbook written by a Shakespearean actor. He's very proud of his penmanship. This is also when he argues with the on-site medical staff. Dr. Sherman, the head of medical research for this wing, has weekly scheduled consultations with 049. These usually devolve into heated debates. Dr. Sherman will present data on antibiotic resistance, and 049 will counter by extolling the virtues of powdered unicorn horn and a good, strong dose of lavender smoke. Your penicillin is a crude cudgel, sir. My cure is a scalpel, precise and perfect. Dr. Sherman just sips his coffee and takes notes. He says the conversations are intellectually stimulating, which is A very polite way of saying completely bonkers. One of the more surprising discoveries about SCP-049 is his appreciation for the arts. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, he's allowed to listen to classical music. He's particularly fond of Gregorian chants and somber cello. He claims it soothes the afflicted spirit and helps him focus his diagnostic energies. He once requested a live performance, but that was politely denied. The risk of him trying to cure the cellist was deemed too high. Then there's his ongoing feud with the cleaning staff. SCP-049 is a neat freak. His cell is immaculate, but he has very specific ideas about cleanliness. He distrusts modern cleaning agents, calling them caustic potions that disrupt the natural humors of the room. Instead, he insists on using a mixture of vinegar, water, and his own blend of aromatic herbs. It makes the entire sector smell like a salad dressing. But you have to admit, the floor gleams. The janitors have just given up and let him do his thing. It saves them a lot of work. As evening approaches, SCP-049's energy seems to wane. He'll sit in his chair, staring at the wall. Sometimes 4 hours. Researchers speculate he's meditating or reflecting on his long, strange existence. When asked, he simply says he is listening to the quiet suffering of the world. It's one of the few times he drops the dramatic flair and sounds genuinely weary. Dinner is usually a simple affair. More broth. Perhaps some hard bread. He calls it a monastic supper to purify the body for the trials of the morrow. After his meal, he does something quite unexpected. He tidies up. He washes his single bowl and spoon, folds his blanket with military precision, and arranges his journal and quill perfectly on his desk. Everything has its place. For an agent of chaos and questionable medicine, he's remarkably orderly. His final activity of the day is reading. The Foundation provides him with a curated selection of pre-modern medical texts and classical literature. He devours them. He has been known to quote Chaucer and Dante Alighieri to guards who are just trying to do their nightly rounds. Abandon all hope. The Who, enter here, he once told a new recruit, pointing vaguely at the cafeteria. The poor kid almost quit on the spot. And so, as the lights in the facility dim, SCP-049 retreats to his cot. His work is never done. The pestilence is ever present. But even a plague doctor needs his rest. In the quiet of his cell, surrounded by the faint scent of garlic and herbs, he sleeps. And the Foundation holds its breath, wondering what new, bizarre, and utterly unsolicited medical advice tomorrow will bring. It's a strange life. But for SCP-049, it's just another day at the office. Thanks for watching this little glimpse into the daily grind of one of the Foundation's most famous residents. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the SCP universe. Stay safe out there, and maybe think twice before accepting medical advice from a man in a bird mask. See you next time.